Desolation, homelessness, and despair. Its realization often means wandering aimlessly. There is no home to go to. It means watching cartoons and rappers on television when you'd rather see 60 Minutes in the local news. It means witnessing others innocently neglecting their children, wishing you had another opportunity to share in the life of your own. To appreciate the small things that until now you have taken for granted. For me, other than the Lord, there has been nowhere to go. It means bowing your head and changing the conversation when asked, "Where are you living now?" It means sleeping on the floor and getting up early to avoid appearing indolent. It means saying no thanks, and you know your stomach is growling, and you have no idea when or where your next meal is coming from. It means not having others understand your generosity of overcompensation for services and assistance, sincere gratitude for acts of kindness that would have otherwise gone unnoticed. It means loss of self-confidence, respect, and esteem, never questioning God, but wishing and praying for Him to end this madness. It means smiling on the outside while crying from within. It means calling your girlfriend and leaving a message on your own answering machine, only to have her return your call saying she received your message on her machine. It means going from one place of refuge to another, never really knowing when you've worn out your welcome. It means long periods of depression. Not only do you need new shoes, but so does your children. It means wondering how much more your children can take, because God knows you are at your wit's end. Mostly it means begging God for His mercy and peace of mind. God be merciful to me, a sinner. My name is Kim Foxx, and I am the Cook County State's Attorney. And this is a letter that my mother wrote to her mother when we were homeless back in 1988. I keep it on my desk as a reminder of the struggles that we endured. I grew up in Cabrini Green, 624 West Division, the child of a single mom who had 2 children by the time that she was 18. My mother and my grandmother and a host of aunties and cousins helped raise us in the housing projects until the time that I was 8. My mother, realizing that the opportunities that were being afforded to us in Cabrini were not the same opportunities that were being afforded to other children in more affluent neighborhoods, did all she could to move us 1 mile north to Lincoln Park to give us the opportunity to have a quality education. Despite the fact that she knew that we deserved that, we certainly couldn't afford it. We moved from the time that I was in 3rd grade till I graduated from high school 6 times. And for a period in 1988, for 6 months, my mother, my brother, and I were homeless, moving from shelter to shelter, trying to stay afloat. This letter, describing my mother's face of homelessness, is a constant reminder of the work that I do as Cook County State's Attorney in making sure that our system is fair and equitable. So I remember one time when we were homeless, we were living in a shelter on the north side, and I was 15, 16, and I was struck by the number of smaller children who were there. And for me, I was working, and no one at school knew that I was homeless. No one at work knew that I was homeless. So when I would go to this particular shelter and there were these young kids who were there, they were really excited to see me. I had become this big sister figure for them. And what that showed me was, one, they had the same hopes and dreams. We were really into DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. And I would play Parents Just Don't Understand, and we would like do the little moves. And the joy that these kids had in doing the dance and singing the songs, like childhood joy. even though they were living in circumstances that most adults could not bear. And for me, to be able to make them laugh, to be able to, in the midst of, I don't know how long we're going to be in this particular place, the strength that comes from enduring hardship, is it pushes you to limits that you don't know that you have. It pushes you every day getting up and going out into the world knowing that you didn't know what the end of the day would look like. Every day showing up for your friends and your family, and harboring feelings of your own struggle, but knowing that somebody else needed you, allowed me to, one, have a greater level of empathy that I don't think I would have had I not gone through this. And two, I realized that there is very little that someone can do or say to me that will knock me off my square. I mean, you just can't knock me off my square. And that comes from having endured real tough hardships. But if you've seen the things that I've seen at 15, 16, if you've seen what I've seen other people younger than me endure, I mean, I had the benefit of being in those shelters as a teenager. There were babies, children who no sense of their own. This wasn't their room. They couldn't pin up their picture of Michael Jackson. They couldn't pin up their grades on their chalkboard, but they were there having joy. The reason I share my story is because people would see me and see my position and see my life now and have no idea that I was a face of homelessness. They will assume that I've had every opportunity given to me and not recognize the struggle that I have and the potential that I had if you don't know where I came from. I think we make assumptions about who the homeless are. I think we make judgments about who they are. What kind of mother would have her child out there? My mother was the most brilliant, brightest ball of energy I ever knew, and believed in the potential of her child. If I don't tell what we went through together, the assumptions that will be made about those who are in need of services like the services of Matthew House, in need of that hand, many people might judge and say no. I have to tell my story for the many men and women who are living this every day, who are just as valuable and just as worthy and have so much to contribute if we give them the opportunity to do that. So I want to thank Matthew House for the honor and privilege of receiving the Rise Up Award. And I especially want to thank you because I received this in the name of my mother, Janelle Wilson, who passed away in 2012, who I watched every day rise up despite her circumstances to provide a path for me. And so to have an award that's called the Rise Up Award, that is for the work that you do at Matthew House to make space for people like me and my mom, I am beyond honored and privileged. And in my mother's name, I say thank you.